I can hear it upstairs from my wife. I can hear the music from. I'm gonna close that door.
Good morning, Slotheads. Welcome to the first, I guess we'll say, official episode of Saturday Morning Cartoons. We tried it again a couple weeks ago, but ran into some technical difficulties, so we're back. We're a little bit more prepared. I don't know. We were both saying we're sweating a little bit more this morning about it, so that's probably a good sign. That means we put a little more effort into it. But yeah, we're here to do, we said every other week, once a month, something like that. We don't know quite what the sort of frequency of this is going to be, but it'll be Saturday mornings. We're going to tune some cars. We're going to chat. We're going to, shoot the nonsense, just talk about what we're doing in the hobby. Hopefully talk to some of you guys too. Looks like we have a few people in here, which is awesome. I see Slot Car Wildman. I see Jen. I think that's probably your wife there.
Yeah, she's a big fan. She's a big fan.
John and Liam. I understand Liam's probably our youngest fan, maybe.
I believe so.
But yeah, so
it's so great to see you.
Yeah, it's fun. It's
Liam. It's good to see you too, Pete. But if anybody doesn't know, this is Pete. I'm Joe. And that's it. That's all we got to talk about.
That's it. Thanks for coming.
Yeah. And of course, for some reason I can't find my screwdriver, which I need to actually do work.
I have one here you can borrow.
Oh, okay. Nice. I'll be right over. What is it, 5 hours to Missouri?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it's longer than that.
At least. So what are you working on today?
I placed a big order with Slot Car Corner for 8 sets of quick slicks. So I'm finally making the dive, switching to silicones.
Okay. I wanted to ask you about that. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but what is it? Because what were you using before? You were using rubber or urethane?
Stock.
Okay.
Rubber. Right.
So rubber. I think this is going to be a really big jump for you. What are you expecting out of this? Like, why silicone? Why didn't you go urethane?
So yeah, that's a good question.
Didn't mean to put you on the spot. We didn't rehearse this at all. I was just like, last night I'm like, I gotta ask him about this because I'm genuinely curious.
Well, I mean, I watched some of your videos and I remember why. It's because at one point you put in your video where you don't have to true them, and I hate truing tires. And I don't have a tire truer, and I don't want to invest the money in that. And so, yeah, I want to slap them on and go racing.
I knew I liked you from the beginning. There was something about you. Oh my goodness.
I mean, there's a fine line between laziness and efficiency, right?
Exactly.
If you're super efficient, people might call you lazy.
Well, there's that. I feel really bad. I'm gonna just turn around a moment because without my screwdriver, the one tool I need, I can't
go for it.
Just give me 1 second. Apologies to leave you hanging.
No, you're good. EV Moto Man from Denmark. What time is it in Denmark? I'm terrible at time zones. I don't even know what time it is where Joe is, and he's only an hour off from me.
Just an hour, but it's 9 o'clock.
But yeah, so excited to make the switch to that. Hopefully I've got some, maybe we can depending on how quickly I can get some of these swapped over, I've got some like tricks up my sleeve where maybe I can swap over to the actual track and do some laps with you guys this morning, but see how long it takes. We'll see how it goes, see how the chat goes. 15:05, that's 3 o'clock, and doesn't make as much sense land over here in the US. Cool. All right, so it's middle of the afternoon for you. Very good.
That's amazing. 3 o'clock.
Yeah, in Denmark. But yeah, so surprise Liam too.
I really feel like a dummy. Like this is of course this happens today.
That's what happens when you party too late there.
Oh man, we were like
party hardy.
I was doing my best. I was doing my best to I had a buddy I hadn't seen in a long time, came over. He slept over, and I see him this morning. I six if he's there. Just pops out. He's like, I didn't want to disturb you. I'm leaving. And I'm like, you don't even have breakfast, man? I'm like, just give me an hour.
Very good. Slot car fan, 1969. Dig it. Dig it. Well, very good. So, I don't know if how many of you saw my last video, but I've got a new track. That's part of the other reason. Not new track, new layout, which is part of the reason. We got a pup in the shot. I like it. But yeah, I made a change to the layout, so that was pretty cool. And that's another reason why I'm switching to silicone. I know that the track is super clean right now, and so I'm sure if I switch over here, then I can just keep it clean. On your and Raul's suggestion, I think from the last one of these chats was the I bought one of those silicone or the reusable lint rollers, and so that's where.
Okay.
Slot car comments is what kind of show is this? No screwdriver.
I'm sorry, man. I just
calling you out.
I know he's calling me out. I'm sorry, man. I found them though. I found my screwdriver. I found my lucky brush. The magnets were attached to them, so they fell over. There's no excuse. I don't know. I'm backpedaling here, but there's no excuse. So what I found really worked on Amazon for lint rollers, if you're talking about the actual the silicone ones. Oh, you bought a silicone one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, because you guys were talking about how great it was last time, and I think it's awesome. It sticks like when I first got it, it stuck like almost too much. It was like pulling the track up and like sticking so hard.
Yeah, I love that. And then, but you really have to when you clean these, you really have to use like a Dawn or a dish soap.
Exactly.
Yeah, or else it doesn't work. I made that mistake of I made that mistake of using hand soap, and I think this is the second one. The first one I use it for pets. I actually bought it for my dog, and it works great. And it's neat because it came with this tiny. It was like a 2-pack with this little guy here.
Oh yeah, that's. I might have got the same one.
$12. Yeah, there you go. Liam, oh my God. Okay. You guys are great. All right. So with the silicones, because I'm dying to see your track. I'm dying to see a nice lap around when we can get into it a little later.
Yeah, I'll get a couple of these on. I'll put them on my favorite cars. That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing to it, right?
Liam, if you're Liam, slot cars are so cool. They are very cool. I'm 42 years old and I'm still playing with these toys, Liam. So you've got a long way to go, my friend, and you'll overpass us for sure if you get into this hobby. And I mean, I don't want to get your parents in trouble or anything, but like, I'm pretty sure you're probably gonna get a set for your birthday. I don't know. Don't thank me for that. I think they're gonna. I think I'm gonna, my phone's ringing right now.
Yeah, you're gonna text right
now.
Stop
saying that.
Cut it. Cut the feed.
You can come over. Cut the feed. Liam, you can come over anytime you want. Just call me or Jen and say, hey, I want to schedule a race, or just come over and visit, and we'll race, buddy. It's here for everybody. So whenever you want, that invitation to you is always open. Did I lose my screw?
Oh, that track's here for everybody. That's a.
It is, and anybody out there too. You guys want to make the trek to come see me? We will race. That is an
inside and outside to these bad boys. Looks like it.
Yes, no, yes, there is. One side will be a little more rounded off, depending on how the mold went, and the other side looks like ugly and flat.
Which side's the inside? The flat side's the inside?
Yeah, the ugly side. I don't really think it makes a difference, but it's just more for the look.
Well, I remember when I raced HO and I swapped to some silicones, or I swapped to any tire, really. It was always make sure that the round side is on the outside, because as it like starts to lose traction, right? If it has the flat side, then it's like a sudden break off that it's gone. If it's round, then it can hold on a little bit. At least that's what
I mean, if that made sense in HO scale, I can only imagine,
Yeah, I'm
you
sure it's
know,
10
but
times.
like when I first started this, I'm like, no, I just want to plug and play. And everyone's like, well, if I buy four Ferraris, are they all going to perform the same, or are all the cars going to just perform the same? And these guys are like, no, 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 every car is different. Even if you buy two of the same car, they're a little different. And I'm like, well, that seems like more of a failure of manufacturing. But at the end of the day, it's like when you actually get into the hobby, you're like, oh no, I kind of want that. I kind of want every car to have a different personality, type of
Yeah.
deal.
It's
And
also like, right, I mean, we both race so far primarily just Carrera, right? And so we're just
mhm,
racing Carrera. Carrera's a toy company, right? When it
that's what
comes
it is.
down to it, they're a toy company, and so they're making toys that for the average person they won't notice the difference. But for you and I, who like live and breathe, and sure plenty of the people in the chat too, like that are around it all the time and in front of it all the time, that yeah, we can notice every little last little tweak and difference.
Absolutely. It's more like when I started, I had like this love-hate relationship with Carrera because I was like, oh, I love that they really do this, but I really hate that they kind of skimped out on this part. Like
Yeah, for
their
sure.
wireless controllers. Let's talk about their wireless controllers for a sec. This red one that came with the set is my worst controller. This is what I give to new people on the track. Not for anything, just because it's a slower controller. The response is a lot slower. I don't know if it's, but
Really?
it feels more solid. Like I love the spring and how it feels. But however, there's I always get a delay out of this remote, and I will lose pretty much 8 times out of 10 if I use this remote if I'm racing people who know how to race. Just because I don't know, it's not sending the signal properly or something,
Hmm.
and it's that big of a difference. Um, with like my blue ones. I'll take the blue one or the yellow one that I noticed are a lot faster. And my wired controller that I picked up for like 30 bucks used.
Yeah.
This is my okay, clearly because it's plugged in. This is my fastest controller.
Yeah, they're like instant. Yeah. Yeah, I'm
Exactly. So
and I added extensions so like I've got one here on the end of my table, even though my control unit's all the way back there. And those ones, when I had all wired, the ones that were straight into the box
yeah.
were way more responsive than the ones with like, 10, 15 feet of telephone cord. It could have just been a mental thing too, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty wild. But the wireless ones, I only notice the difference when you first start, when it first connects. Like if the controller goes to sleep
Yeah,
before you
which is
start the race, then
yeah.
I notice it takes a minute for the controller to wake up and then the cars go. So everybody who's wired gets a much better jump. And so I always
Yeah.
make sure that those are
But
in the
what's but
front
what's I
of the
but what's that
grid.
delay time then?
I don't know about during the actual race. I don't notice a delay.
No, no,
It's
no, but
when
I
it
mean
first wakes up.
before yeah, exactly. But how long does it take for these things to fall asleep? I don't know. I can't find any
Oh
information
yeah,
on that.
it's fast.
Yeah, like it's like
I
you're
mean,
waiting to
it
the next race,
feels
like,
way
"Oh,
too
my
fast.
controller's already asleep? Why?" I guess
Yeah,
to save battery time, and
which I mean, I get, and it's one of those things I just usually press that button on the top, like the connect button, because that'll
mhm.
wake it up without doing anything.
Oh, okay.
Without
I try to avoid touching that, not to mess with the program,
it
but
just yeah. I mean, if it's yeah, I mean, if you're not pressing and holding and doing all that, it won't mess with anything. But it
that's
wakes
smart.
it
I didn't
up.
think of that. I
So
didn't
as the
think of that.
countdown goes, I always tell everybody like press your top button, press your top button, and then then the light will blink. You'll know it's awake, and then you don't get that delay. But I've never had like if you're getting a delay as you do a lap.
I can never with my red one, I can never have a full, I feel it. I know my controllers, and I'm just like, every time I'm like, this there's that lag.
That's
And I
weird.
don't know if it's the spring because it's a tighter spring, so I'm used to I have to push a little harder maybe. Maybe I have to like, but there's a big variance. Like so between my blue and yellow, okay, there's a little variance, but the red one it's quite annoying. And I've unplugged the battery, I've switched out batteries, I've reset the thing, I've reconnected it. I don't know.
Weird.
And I'm not that's why I'm kind of falling into the camp. I just did a video on I'm going to be releasing it next week or the week after on the five because I'm going back through my notes and I'm like, I have all these videos that I wanted to do. And then after meeting everybody, I'm like, oh, yeah, these are kind of like beginner videos. But I'm like, no, no, stick with it. Like, there are
Yeah.
beginners. And so I'm going to do the 5 things that you're going to buy after a starter set.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's more like, uh, honestly, at this point, I feel confident enough to be like, these are the things you're going to buy. Like, don't even think like maybe or you might not need. No, these just buy these things now. Put them on your list first because The garages are great. The towers, the Marshall Tower looks really cool, but you're not going to get the most out of this track unless you buy these 5 things. And one
Yeah.
of those things is the wireless controllers. And honestly, at this point, I'm leaning towards the camp of buy third party. I don't have yet, but just out of reviews and how I see people race, it's like I know that it's going to be a better investment. And not enough beginner videos. Okay, thank you. I did notice that
Oh,
those 2 videos were my best viewed.
yeah, it's
So
funny when I did
thanks, Lockhart
like
Wildman.
beginner mistakes or something, and yeah, I mean that one still gets like 100 views a day, and
That's awesome.
that's from like November. It might even be
That's
earlier
great.
than that, but it's my like best video, and I'm like, oh man, I should do an update to that. I'm like, nah, let's just let it go. It's good. I liked it. It was fun. And I think that's probably why it did so well, because I had a blast making that one. So I
There you
think
go.
like it just, I think even when I watch it back, I'm like, oh yeah, man, that was fun. I gotta do another one like that. You just kind of I don't know, tell the vibe through it. Like I got one of my buddies in the chat. Joe
Yeah, I saw
Slot
that.
Cars when his race night, and he'd try this new track you've been hyping. Yeah, I mean, race night could be tonight if you want to come over. I'm just saying. All you need is 2 people to race. We don't need all 10 that we normally get, but
Well,
yeah.
now actually, you don't need 2 people. I don't know if you saw the last. I found it very interesting. That group of guys that talks about slot cars. What are they called?
Worldwide
They're
Soccer Chat,
yeah, is it that? And then
where there's like 10 people on the screen.
yeah, that's it. This one was more, and this one guy was talking about AI ghost cars. So for Liam, I'll do this for Liam's benefit. If you don't know, the track itself, you can program a car to go around the track on its own. It'll switch lanes and everything all by itself, which is neat because you add traffic. So what this gentleman was doing is that he was using, I believe, the check lanes and some sensors, and
Yeah.
he was sending information back to the computer as to where the car was, as to where every other car was in the race, and he would send information to the computer to speed up or slow down the car. So now you had like intelligent racing, and I'm sitting there going, wait, no, like I understand sensors. I work around programmers all day. I get the concept of programming. I am not a programmer by any means.
Yeah.
I can light up an Arduino like lights and make them blink.
Yeah, it's about my extent too.
Well, no, you're a bit more advanced than me, but it's it's still like this guy is sitting there and he's like, oh yeah, well I'm doing this and that, and so the car's passing, and then it'll. My issue now is sending it back to the relay and getting it fast enough. So he's developing a way to get the ghost cars to actually be intelligent, to know where they are in the position and adjust like how aggressive. Like the car wants to be first now, so he's gonna race you. He's just not traffic anymore. He wants to race you.
Yeah, it's like a smart ghost.
Well, that's it. So it's like
That's cool.
this would
I've
be
heard. I
stuff.
mean, I've seen on the forums like so many people talk about it, but like there'll be a lot of discussion about it for like 3 months, and then you never hear from them again. So it's
No
like,
one.
something didn't go well during that. Like, somebody else
That's
got to come up with a different method.
that's patience and
Yeah.
yeah, that's patience and programming, and you've got to love to be staring at a screen. Not like us guys who are like super narcissistic and love to see ourselves on YouTube and stuff. You have to like love looking at numbers, right? So
Yeah, and yeah, non-English language, and figure out how it makes a computer do what you want it.
JPS, I'd settle for ghost cars slowing in the turns. Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. But Pete, you have
Yeah,
a
and I
good
think that's
solution for that.
basically what they're doing is that a sensor would be right before the turn, so that the CU knows where the car is. It slows it down for that turn, so that you can turn up the speed. So
Yeah.
that way in the straights it goes faster, and then in the turns it slows down, which is like crazy. But yeah, that would be very cool. Yeah, more sensors, right?
Yeah.
Just more of them everywhere.
Just everywhere.
I need to
Well, I
get
thought
some check lanes. I think that's my next like track upgrade. But how long is it? Is it like a half straight?
no, it's a full straight.
Full straight? Yeah. I don't have
Yeah,
any full straights. that I don't already have planned to switch to a double lane changer.
Well, exactly. It's
More,
such
that's what I'm trying to decide is what's more important to me, more lane changers or
well, that's it. Or check
check
lanes
lane.
or like my track's only 38 feet, and I'm like, and I'm spoiling my video, but like in the video I talk about it's my bonus thing that you kind of need to buy, but it's still 50-50. But I think anybody with the track with at least 50 feet will really benefit from it. And that's if you have guys coming over or you really want or you really have a technical section. My track is really meant to be as fast as possible and be on the edges of the table, so there's no climbing excuse me, there's no climbing over. Kind of realized that in my old age, like I don't want fancy stuff. Maybe a little. My most technical part is right here, right? This
Yeah.
hairpin and my death curve because I've got this beautifully long straight.
Yeah,
But
no,
I'm happy with that. Like we race
and
family,
that's
and I'm
always
like,
like
this is
it's
what I
got to
need.
be a part. If you're gonna have a long straight on a table as big as most people's basement table, there's always gonna be a death curve, right? If
You have to.
you want a long straight, but at the end of that long straight, there's got to be a turn, and usually it's got to be a pretty tight turn.
Why would I make
Yeah,
it easy?
I'm very familiar with the death curve. No matter what design I come up with, I'm like, oh yeah, that one's gonna be dangerous, but oh well. Oh, you
What
guys
about you,
race
Slotman?
3, so 3 of you and a ghost car. That's awesome. That was a lot of fun.
Oh man, yeah.
Because we did last time I had the guys over, there was like 8 or 10 of us, but we raced 6 at a time with 2 ghost cars that were like way slower than everybody else, and so I mean it was nuts how many cars were going around.
Yeah,
And the track
that's
at the
almost
time was 15 feet shorter than it is right now, and so like it was like every turn there's some car on it, and it was really tricky to find a spot to get to the lane changer. Because there's always another car in the other lane that you're going to change into. It was a
But
blast.
talk to me about that because you have a I like your system and I was trying to remember it yesterday. You set your cars really slow, and you have your what's that game you play with your buds? You mentioned it
Yeah,
twice
so
in on
that was basically the first time I ever had them over was back in like November. First time on this track. They've raced on the HO track lots of times.
Mhm.
And that one is those cars are so glued to the track, and I made sure that they were even more glued, and then switched out the tires and like added more magnets, and then that there's always like for each it was a 4-lane analog on that one, and so for each one it was basically like there's one spot on the loop on the lap that you had to slow down on, and it was different for each car because depending on each one's different radius because 4 lanes and they all got to go around the same turn,
Yeah.
and so it was fun because you would let go at those spots, and then you could almost hammer down the rest of the time, and you would get into a pattern. It was good, and so they got the hang of it really quickly.
Nice.
With the new track, since you're in different lanes and different speed cars and all kinds of different things, you're not like it's not as easy to like quickly pick up like, oh, at this spot I always have to slow down.
Yeah.
And so the first night, I won't say it was an absolute disaster, but it was about as close as you can get to a disaster without everybody just saying like "F this, I'm never coming back." And so for the next time, which was around the holidays, I think in between Christmas and New Year's, there was like 8 or 10 of us, and I turned the ghost cars. The ghost cars are like we're going basically as slow as they possibly can without getting stuck on my hill.
Okay, that's what I was trying to remember. What your technique.
And then all of the cars, all the racer cars, the 6 cars that we were racing as humans, were turned up to just fast enough that they won't deslot. And so this was just to get everybody like used with lane changing, used to the because like and I think I even put that in one of my in my mistake videos that like if you try to introduce too many people to too many things on digital at the same time, it's like I don't understand any of this, and so then none of it sticks. And so my goal was to like, okay, let's get people to figure out, okay, here's when you can change lanes, here's when you can't change lanes. Like you can't change lanes when there's somebody in the other lane because you're just both going to go off. Here's how you get into the pit lane. Here's how often you have to pit. Here's how it works. You got to press the button. You got to do this. You got to watch your screen to see what your fuel is. Like that's already a lot without having to figure out like when do I let off the gas.
Exactly.
And so I think the ghost cars were at like like 7% on
Okay.
Smart Race, and then all the cars were at like 14 or 21, whatever
Yeah,
whatever I
the
could get
increments
to.
are.
And
Yeah.
so they're really slow, and you're hammering down. But with 6 cars out there, and then as the night goes, I don't know if Mike's, my buddy is still in the in the chat, but one of the cars was like deteriorating very quickly with like how fast it was going. I don't know. We couldn't figure out what was going on with it. It's fine now. I've tuned it and cleaned it up. I'm pretty sure the
Okay.
braids were getting crossed or something. But it was like barely making it up the hill by the end of the night. And granted, there were 6 of us, and we were doing 30-lap races for like 6
Oh
hours,
man.
just like straight. And so anyway, as the game is that you have to get around the ghost cars fast enough. If you can get around the ghost cars and pit at the right time, you'll win the race. But
Okay.
then there was always one car that was faster than all the rest, so that one almost always won. So it was always a race for second.
Okay.
but but
At that
a
speed,
learning
yeah.
process and curves. But now that it's flat, now the track's flat, the turns it's a little bit more flowy. There's only really 2 or 3, like this end of the table closest to me is where there's sharp turns, and so those are
Mhm.
the ones where you got to like pay a little more attention. And so that's part of the reason why I'm switching to silicones too, is so I can turn up the speed for all the guys, for everybody, so that it's a little bit more skill to it. But I wanted to introduce them, and if we start and do that and it's an absolute disaster and everybody's wrecking again, because on that first night it was just like wreck fest. Like,
It's gonna be for new players, especially if you speed them up. But like the silicone, I just want to address something here. Hold on.
yeah.
Yeah, Liam, you we raced last year. It was really fun. You got to see the track at its basic. You got to see it now. I got extra trees. But okay, yes, my wife won last night's race against me and my buddy John, who's in the chat. Um, and he's the first time he came down. He was blown away by the track. I was like, "What are you talking about? This is like whatever." And he's like, he didn't understand what slot car was, so he was really impressed. We raced. He understood. He figured it out by the end. Got the hang of the death curve. Johnny did really great. And we both lost by like point zero of seconds to my wife.
Oh,
But when the cars are slower and she's in her Audi, that Audi hugs these corners. Like it's almost not fair. And that's why I'm doing this racing thing, one for fun, show all of you, and at the same time, I really want to class my cars. I want to go the faster class, A class, B class, meaning these are the cars that handle really well. And if you want to race the Ferrari and the Aston Martin, then we'll all play B class, and we'll just be fair that way. So that way it's not. But again, when you're racing at 100%, it's anybody's game. To a certain extent, if you really know the car. I
that's
just
the
find
one
that.
concern I have with if switching to these is that am I gonna be able to crank it all the way up and not de-slot as much?
Okay, I'm gonna make an observation, and I'm probably gonna get flamed for it in the community. Um, Everyone's like, well, everyone, not everybody, but some people are like, your next evolution after digital is to take out the magnets and race magless because you feel the car more and
Right.
whatnot. When I first started putting everything at 100%, and I've got my Ferrari and Cabo Expo, where is it? Anyways, that really fishtail a lot. You cannot go full pin ever.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, is this what everyone's talking about? Like you cannot, like, you're really feathering that trigger. You have more feel for the car of how it's going and responding, and this is how I'm learning my controllers. So I feel that racing at 100%, until you get used to it, obviously, because now Jen and I only race at 100% because it's just the way to
Yeah.
go. But new people, it's a little hard, and there's going to be that learning curve. So those cars are going to get really wrecked, and that's why I let go of the fantasy of like, oh, these cars are going to be nice models and pristine. No, these cars are meant to be, and
No shelf
and that's
queens, right?
no shelf queens. I don't believe in that. Maybe if I buy 124s, if I buy 124s one day, shelf queens it is. But yeah, so these cars, that's again my love-hate relationship with Carrera. It's like, oh, why this is kind of flimsy, but these cars, two of them have fallen off the table. I've had to super glue the little cracks. I was really upset. But other than that, like they've lasted. And I'm not complaining about that. That was our fault. That was, these cars like to find the exact spots where you don't have catch fence. It's
Oh,
just a
for
thing.
sure. Yeah.
It's just a thing, right? Like underneath my TV, my monitor TV, where I was like, I don't need catch fence back here because the car will always get stuck. No, it was like it figured it out. It ducked. I don't know what happened. It found that corner, hit the heater. I'm crying, but luckily I only lost a rearview mirror, and that was it. So lesson learned.
Yeah, it's funny because like when I redid the track, right, I tore it all down and then rebuilt it up, but I didn't have enough of the walls that I use to go around the whole thing. Well, I had enough, but I didn't have enough borders. So I was like printing and trying to get it going, but I'm like, I need to get some cars on the track. I want to see how much fun this is. And so it's like, it's funny. I'm like babying it around some of the corners that I don't have anything, to catch it on. And then like eventually it's like, oh no, I can go a little bit faster on that one. I can go a little bit faster. And then it's like, boom, flies off. It's underneath the couch over there. It's gone. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's just wait till we get some borders and some walls and yeah,
It,
like wow, it says it. They
so
do.
this post here, okay, when I first bought the set, there was no table here. There was a couch.
Okay.
My son was sleeping down here, and we set it up in front of the couch. The couch was an IKEA, pulls out into a bed.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
so we had the set on the floor, and my wife's like, "Wait, there's a dog here. He's gonna step." I'm like, "No, no." I'm like, "You bought me this set. Like, I gotta just at least put it together and make sure all the pieces are there, right?" Like that was my excuse. So
Yeah.
you set it up on the floor and one curve without even putting guardrails on because I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna test it for like Christmas.
Yeah.
The cars, after a while, I figured it kept on hitting this post, so I had to put a pillow because this track is so big. I had no space to move it around, so I'm like, of course, the cars are gonna fly off and hit the post
Yeah.
and
Hit the
almost
one
break.
thing in the room that could damage them. Yeah, for sure.
And you hear plastic cracking, which is like the worst sound in the world.
Yeah, I
And
love when you hear them fall and you hear the car fall, and then you hear some smaller, lighter plastic piece just kind of skitter across. It's like, well, I'm never gonna find that.
well, that was last week, and unfortunately, I couldn't salvage the video. But that was last week. And you'll see it on my YouTube page on my banner. The
Yeah.
Mercedes light is lower, and it took me till last week to actually open it up and look
Oh
at it. I
yeah.
thought it was just broken and it snapped it back in, and I'm like, oh, thank God. I thought it was completely damaged.
Yeah. I remember
Um,
you talking about that, and then, well, I
it
don't
just
know if
got
it
fixed.
was. Yeah, I don't know. I remember if that was when we were. I don't know. It was when we were chatting. I don't remember if it was on the last live stream or whether that was just one of the other times we were chatting.
Yeah, exactly. And so
Well,
I
this
think
is
at
way
this
easy to replace these tires. I'm cranking through these things.
good.
Well, it is already 8:30. How about that? Chitty chatting
Oh,
away.
chit chat away for 8:30. So look, so I think you and I should set a time, not for the chat, for how long do you think it's going to take us before we take out magnets? Seeing as we're kind of, I mean, I'm going to give you about 6 months to get used to silicone tires, which you're going to love. Thank you for coming to this side of the table. And, um,
I don't
I
know.
mean,
I
look,
don't really
if
have a
you,
desire for that.
to take out the
I just don't.
magnets,
Yeah, I don't
mm,
know. I admit that may change because I may
yeah,
get, these might be too sticky for me, but I just don't. I don't know.
no, that's not a thing. Too sticky is not a thing. But I do see these videos and these cars are like drifting and not, and I'm like, oh, am I missing out? But you're not because the track will get dusty and these cars drift. Don't think that they don't.
Yeah,
Hey,
absolutely.
Conquest, how you doing, man? How you doing, brother?
Man, the myth, the
So
legend joined us.
yeah, and I'm loving these new camera angles you've got going on, Raul. If you guys haven't checked them out, um, Liam, by all means, go check Conquest Racing. He's got some really cool shots and really cool videos on slot cars and all that. A lot of information, a lot of information. Slot car Wildman too, Liam. Anybody who you see here today, go check them out. And if I missed anybody, I'm really sorry. These guys, except for John Rosner, don't no John, don't check him out unless you like music. If you love music, you go check out John Rosner. And then
Don't check this guy.
don't check this guy out. He has nothing to do with slot cars, but music, however, he's a very talented musician. So I'm opening up a world for you, buddy. I really can't wait to race with you again and show you what the track has evolved into. And
Slippery
you did
slope. Be
say
careful, buddy.
what?
I said it's a slippery slope. Be careful, buddy, because you'll
Oh,
wake
it's
up and
okay.
you'll be like, whoa.
He's got
My
mom and
house
dad's
is
budget.
filled with slot cars, and that's all I can think about.
Hey. Oh man, Eric, what are you running? I don't. Are you running mags? No mags? Rabbit hole is deep. Yes, for sure.
Well, man, we can be magnet buddies. I like that.
But I'm telling you, you're gonna you're gonna change your mind.
Gonna
So I'm gonna
evolve.
see. I'm the clock is set. It's ticking. Today's the date. I'm gonna see when you're gonna come back to me and say, "Hey, what do you think about the no magnet stuff?" And I
Yeah.
would really.
What do I need to know about going to no mag? That's what I did with silicons. I was like, yeah, okay, let's do it.
Okay. Oh, okay. So what? You're gonna wait till I do it and then see
Yeah,
what?
see how it goes. Yeah, for
Okay,
sure.
makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, man.
I'll just stay one step
I,
behind you on that front.
okay. I see how this is
You can
going.
be my guinea pig.
I see why you agree with me with everything half the time now. I get it. You're like, yeah, no,
Oh
do
yeah,
it,
that's a good
do it,
idea.
do it,
You
go,
should try it.
go.
You should try that. I'd love to see how that turns out.
Oh man, did I say Liam? I have a couple of no mags, but enjoy. No, it's drift race. Okay, cool, cool.
I'm thinking about. I really want to. I tried to talk my parents into giving me this for my birthday, but they declined so far. Hopefully they're not watching. No, but I really want to get one of those Legends white kits like you did, Raul. I really want to do one of those and do a couple of those on the track. Because I've seen, I guess with a Carson chip, you can make them digital pretty easily. No desire to go analog. That's not a thing on my horizon. But yeah, I'd really like to try one of those. I've done I've done some airbrushing and that sort of thing. It's not gonna be nearly as nice as Raul, but yeah, I think that'd be fun. Something cool and different. And ours are really, even the ones that are already painted are really cool. Those Legends, those Pioneer Legends.
Yeah,
I just think they're rad. But yeah,
there's Slot Car Hooligan, Ryan from Slot Car Hooligan. He just did a showcase on them, and I did not realize the detail on those cars and how good they look. I mean, I say that about all the cars. You see them in a picture until you go to the shop and you're like, oh no, this car looks
yeah,
like car looks
completely
really
different.
nice.
Yeah. I also
Li-
saw. I've been watching. Well, I watched Marty's live stream, and I watched some of Shotgun Dave's and Area 51. Those guys doing the land barge. I've been really tempted to build.
okay.
Let's vote on the. Yeah, I voted, brother. I don't know if everybody else in the chat voted, but if you didn't, hop over to Raul's channel. He's got a community post, and there's
Yeah.
like 4 cars that he's got a shootout for. I guess this is maybe the first round of the. Oh, the voting will set up the grid. I like it. So you got to pick which car you think is gonna win.
Right, Liam, you heard him, man. Go get your vote in.
Yeah, Conquest Racing Club. It's pretty cool. It's funny. I commented on his video and he on it, but it's the four cars he had up there. I have 3 of the 4, I think.
Nice.
16 cars split into 4 posts. I got it. Okay. Well, very cool. But yeah, I was like, oh yeah, if those were my cars, I know that Audi would win because that's my fastest of those 4. But like we were just talking about earlier, they're all. I mean, they could all be out of the same, the same store, the same livery, the same car, and they're all completely different. So. But yeah, very cool.
Did
he picked? Yeah, no drama. Picked the Corvette. That's the one that I didn't have. I have a. Well, actually, I'm doing it right now. The C8. But I do not have. I think his was a C7. I do not have 7, so couldn't verify that one, but I imagine it's.
Liam, my mom is going. Your mom is going to buy a bigger house? Because I saw your comment before. You were saying you need to buy a bigger house so you can put a slot car track like Joe. Like my yeah.
Just race on Joe's.
Yeah, just race on mine.
Get some cars and bring them over and race on Joe.
Absolutely. You don't even have to buy the cars, guys. I'll buy the cars. Tell me which ones you want. Buy them, leave them here, or bring them home. I don't care. That's what I was telling people. Yeah, we can race, and my buddy's like, yeah, you can buy your own car. I'll show you how to tune it, and then you tune it and bring it over. And I'm like, I'm just gonna buy that car anyways. Don't break your head.
Yeah,
You know,
forget about it. Now I'm talking about it. I kind of want that one.
but that's it. It's like no, but it's more I've always been like that. Like especially with our our board game collection and whatnot.
Yeah,
It's one thing to have board games and have other people have board games, but it's just fun to be like, no, these games are for everyone to share. I'm a social person, so the track was never. I knew that it was never going to be just about me. I wasn't going to be one of those guys to be like, no, this is my pride and joy. Maybe when I retire, if I have something like like a project to do, but I always want people to share. So I got it out of my head real quick that I might have to be replacing cars. And again, love hate relationship with Carrera. It's like, okay, these cars are robust, but if ever they break, I'm kind of SOL as far as parts go. I don't know how it is in the States or where you are, but um like
like what kind of
parts
parts? I had a hell of a time finding a motor. Heck of a time. Sorry. Heck of a time finding a
yeah.
motor replacement. So I just, well, then I was super confused about. I think you and I went around in circles about that the other day. I thought it was a Piranha. It's not. It's a Predator. Predator replacement for actually this car.
No, it is a
Close
Piranha
it
because
up.
the Piranhas are the plug and play.
This one's not plug and play. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Sorry, my bad.
Because
Thank you.
you were gonna upgrade a Piranha. Or somebody else talking to you was gonna
Yeah,
upgrade a Piranha.
I was thinking maybe because I've seen a few people do it. Hughes Garage, Raul, and some people just upgrading their cars to the Piranha. So I figured maybe I might have to do that with the slower cars, but I don't want them to go too fast. So this piece came off, and now I don't know how to put it back on. I don't know where it comes from. There we go.
Yeah,
Figured it out.
yeah. So wow, man, the cars were really hard to find. I had a really
Yeah.
hard time. And so, yeah, the only one that I could find that was like basically as close to stock replacement because I just wanted to replace it because the other one was fried, but just wanted to
Okay.
replace it. And like in order to get the 18,000 RPM and as close as I can with the same plug-in and not doing anything, it I just I had to get the Predator. It had dual spindles, so I had to cut one side off and then trim the other one off. And I was like, man, and then solder it. It's no big deal. Like I did it, and it's fine. I did a video on it. That's like my poorest
I'm
performing video. But it was fine. But I was like, why is this so difficult? There should just be a like Carrera should just make a motor that I just plug in and pop it in, and it's done. Like they're all the same.
having anxiety just from you saying I had to cut and spend time, and I'm like, oh, no.
If you're upgrading, though, it's different. There's lots
Yeah.
more options that are plug and play if you're upgrading. If you're trying to find a straight replacement, which is what I was trying to do, it's a pain.
But I got
Conquest says he's got some original motors. Yeah, I couldn't find that to save my life.
I bought this from the States, buddy. I
could not find it, and everywhere I looked, it was like sold out. Although
Do you
it
want
might
one?
have just been at the time I was doing it.
I'll send you. I think it was Herrera's.
You got a shot?
No.
You holding
I got
out?
no, Carrera's. That shop there. That's official, non-official Carrera
Yeah,
site.
Carrera slots or whatever.
Yeah, that's where I got them from because it's the only place I could find them. And yeah. So, did you want to dive into the Discord at all?
We can. I mean, we can talk about it. I haven't done any work on it.
I think
I'm sure you're not surprised about that.
Dude, we're busy. I'm not like that could be that's a whole live stream in itself. Maybe we can.
We can just touch on it.
Yeah,
I already kind of mentioned it in my like goals for 20. Excuse me, goals for 2024. We're thinking about making a Discord channel. And so it's basically. I mean, I think you're better explaining because I get hung up on it.
Sorry, Marie Jose. Yeah, and Mom will bring gin. Perfect. I love my gin. Yeah. Well, my thing, like I said, the whole reason why I contacted you and I reached out was because of your what to expect, and for 2024. And the last thing you said was, you wanted to do the bring Discord to the community, and that's when it clicked. I'm like, yeah, this guy's thinking like me. Like, what a great way to have people connect. There is a learning curve to Discord. It's not just another forum, but if you're a gamer at all, and or even someone who just likes to go onto somewhere, click and just be able to talk and post. I'm just, YouTube is great for the community. Everyone seems to have adopted it really well. Um, Again, with this chat going, I love you guys. Thank you so much. It's really appreciated from the both of us. But I wish there was a way that we could communicate a little more. Like, and that's okay if people are, you know, want to sit back and just like watch and go on and like spend your time and whatnot. Like I respect that. I respect people's privacy 100%. I was just wishing that like when I started in the hobby that I could connect with people a little easier. And if there was a Discord, then I could hop on and even just being a member, being like, hey, ask you a question. I know you're gonna get that response. And something like this right now, like if you guys were on Discord, you could start a watch party, without us losing any views or anything, but in the background, and where we could also be at the same time and see what's going on. It's basically like a glorified chat where you can really, we could really change it up. Like Raul could have his own tab. Wildman, you could have your own tab. So if people want to ask you questions about stuff or people want to post, and you've got your thing going on, it's not to take away from the community. It's to just enhance it, because that's all it is really. Is Discord is a in my opinion, a better way of messaging people and knowing what's going on more instantly. Maybe that's part of the
Yeah, it's a little more
generation.
conversational, right? It's a little more
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
conversational
say.
than
Sorry.
sending a comment and getting it back, or sending an email and getting it back. It can be like, for example, Joe and I are on there like all day, every day almost,
Yep. Yep.
chatting back and forth and sending each
They're
other
good.
messages. But there, we're going to create a server that is, that's a Discord word for basically like a forum page. If you're used to forums, there's a little bit more. Um, but yeah, it's like
Yeah, at least.
a gamer Discord that would be for slot cars instead of whatever game it is or whatever game group you're playing with. So we're working on that. We're trying to figure out the logistics and how we work on it. But we kind of had like a brilliant idea the other day. I don't know if it's brilliant or not. Well, only time will tell. Um, but that we just call it Saturday morning cartoons. Just
Yeah.
like create the thing, and then I can have a little section on it. Joe can have a little section on it, and then if other people want to join and have have a way to communicate with their channels better, or differently, not better. I don't know, it's necessarily better. But it's just a unique, little bit different way that I think it's like the modern, the 2020s
Yeah.
version of a forum.
Well, that's it. And it's a way we can not control, but because I mean our concerns are, YouTube seems to bring the best out of people. I've been pretty impressed with the YouTube community and how helpful people are, and how um
Respectful.
yeah, respectful people are to each other, and just being able to reach out, right? Like I reached out to you, I had reached out to MP Slotgar, he was very willing to do the interview, and it was like, oh, everyone's chill. Like, and I get it. People are like, nah, man, I'm kind of like, I kind of want to do this on my own and like leave me alone, type of deal. But I didn't get that at all from anybody. Raul, uh, with our first conversation ever, I got like a list of things like, oh no, you want this camera? Boom, 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 boom. This here. Check this out. He just said, hey man, you want motors? I'll send them to you. Raul's like one of the nicest guys. I really hats off to you, buddy, for thank you for just being so positive in this hobby for us new guys. Nice.
Sorry,
Do you
was
guys have
asking about the
Lamborghini
Lamborghini
Hurricanes?
Huracan, and that's the one I'm working on.
Yeah. What do you think about them if you do? Okay, well, you want to go
I love
first,
it.
Pete?
I love mine. It's been a little finicky lately. So it used to be the fastest car on my track. Um, the one thing is it just because of the shape of it, it's a wedge. So if it gets behind another car, and I mean in my experience, it's almost like some of those Formula Ones where it will just like boom,
Yeah.
slide right up underneath some of the cards, especially like this guy. It just, and then this one is whoop, gone. so you can yeet somebody right off the corner.
Oh, really? I would have. Well, it depends. I mean, if you're putting them up against Porsches, like my Lamborghinis are, I believe, are going to be the next thing we time trial, and they're I with the experience without even having to push into the test with their needing a good tuning, they're up there with the Porsches and the R8s as far as how well they stick on the track. That's been my experience. Um, a little lighter, but not much. I love them. I think they're great. I don't. I'm surprised no one's voting for them. I don't think people like Italian cars.
I just know my man filter, which I love to just call it the man filter.
Man,
Um,
filter.
is I know it's faster than mine. So, and that
Oh,
it wasn't
okay.
always the case at the beginning. You know, when I first got these guys, this one was the fastest, and then since it was so far and above faster than the rest of my cars, I turned it into a ghost car. I was like, well, that's easy. Just turn it into a ghost car, and then nobody will have this wicked fast car. But then it just runs a ton of laps at a very constant speed, and I think it took its toll on the car.
Or yeah, okay, or you broke it in that way. Okay, I see. Well, I've noticed
So
that
it's
too, right? I mean, like my newer cars versus my older cars, like it's something like that's why you got to break them in at least for half an hour. And I realized the importance of that. And then as you race the car, like sometimes I'll come down to the track and just be like, okay, I'm gonna run some laps. I'll take the car I've raced the least just to break in. Oh, nice. I'll take the car that I raced the least just to break in that motor a bit more, you know.
yeah,
And
for sure. And like this one was one that came. I mean, all of my stuff was used when I first bought it, but it came with that original set, and
mhm.
it was. But um,
Oh, okay,
this was my favorite car when I first got it because it ran smooth. It was these two that came. I mean, they were both used, and that's why this one's motor got fried real quick.
okay.
Um, but they were both. Yeah, I mean, it was one of my favorites, but I raced it so much and put so many laps on it that it like broke in and was really fast and really great, and then it just like on the other side of the bell curve. So um, I don't race it nearly as much anymore because of that, and because I got burnt out on it. Because like for the first month, that was like the only car I would race. Um, yeah, I think it's awesome. It's pretty. It's cool. It's different. It's like it's strangely narrower than like every other car.
Okay, so that's what kind of one of the first things that kind of turned me off about Carrera cars when I was noticing stuff. So the older Beamers and the older Mercedes, I found for models were only because you pulled up the I have the same BMW. Uh, I noticed that the earlier models seem to be like flatter and longer. Um, okay, yeah, I understand. Well, it's a GT2, not a GT3. So, and then I had a buddy of mine come over and the M4, and I'm like, look at this car. Like their scaling is all off because look how much fatter this car is and whatever. And my buddy's like, no,
Yeah,
that's how the car actually is.
yeah.
Like he goes, he's looking at the cars going, no, 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 this is pretty well
Different
to
years,
scale.
different models. Yeah,
And I'm like, oh, okay, because I never liked those. I just found them to be more toy looking, the earlier Mercedes and whatnot. I forget if there was the GT3s. So the AMG I really enjoyed because I'm like, well, it looks like a regular car. It looks like a standard
it's funny. The one
look
that
to
threw me
scale
off
is what I
was
mean.
actually that Huracan because it feels so much smaller than some of the other ones. I mean, it's tiny, short, but then like when you see one, it's like, no, that's a tiny, short little
Car.
car that you can, you need a shoehorn to get into. Um, so it's just, yeah, it's kind of interesting that you don't really notice. Also, a lot of times, like you, it's pretty rare that you would see these two cars right next to each other in real life, right? It's not often that you're gonna see them. I mean, sure, maybe on TV or something, but like in live in person, pretty rare that you're gonna see any of these cars, unless you're at a really nice car show, which most of the car shows I go to are not that kind of car, or like the beaters or muscle cars that are work in progress. Um, but yeah, it's just it's interesting because think about it, it's like, man, those feel way off. But then if you like, I dug into a little bit of measurements on some. I'm like, well, you know what? That's pretty dang close to spot on. It's just
Yeah,
something with the trickery with the eyes, or that I've never seen them together in
I
the
just
same
never
place.
liked. I looked at them. I'm like, you look flat and whatever, and I'm like, it just looked like Carrera cheaped out. And in the beginning, when I didn't know better, right? So I was like, okay, fine, but I still won't buy those cars because I don't like the way they look.
Well, now your brain's stuck on that, right? No, that's all you
Exactly.
can think about.
Mhm. No, exactly. So when I saw the
I did
M4s, I'm like,
see.
oh,
Yeah,
just my OCD for certain things, right? I mean, it kind of turns on and off for what I needed to do. So
there were some older. I was looking at the shop the other day, and I was looking at some cars to pick up, and I had like I finally got some new stock, so there's a bunch of really cool ones in there. I don't know which one I want, but there were some. I
I
like
should
to
put grease
keep
on my
so like
mustache.
I've pretty much stuck with GT3s, right? Just because like they're similar cars, it makes sense that they're on the track together.
Mhm.
But then there were some really cool, like older, like more, and it might be even the BMWs you're talking about. They were like just like a little more boxy, a little more harsh corners,
Yeah,
flatter to the track, just like they look rad. And now of course I'm blanking on what they are, but I'm like, oh, that'll
the
look really
M6s.
weird. Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're right. They do. They look tiny. They look like toys compared to the rest of the cars sitting on the shelf. And so it's funny because I was like, oh man, I really want that. But it's like, in order to like race them together, I need like four. Like, I'm ready to spend like 65, 70 bucks on a car today. I'm not ready to spend
Exactly.
300.
And Dave from Slotard did his he finally got his quad of cars, and I made a comment. I'm like, yeah, that was my goal from the beginning, like to get 4 cars of the same, and my goal is to work up to get quads, but there's just so many other cars that like I want now before I actually do that. Manny Jose. So yeah, the Jeep. You're talking about the Jeep. This Jeep is super fast for what it is because you can wind it up. Look at that traction. Look at that traction. I got this at Canadian Tire. I don't know what the equivalent it is in the states of Canadian Tire. It's like a auto shop, but like a Walmart, but auto shop. But we've had Canadian Tire even before Walmart.
I probably discount tire down here, maybe.
Yeah, like you buy parts. Motormaster's a big name. We have
Oh, maybe
Princess
like
Auto.
AutoZone.
I don't know if that's. Do you guys have Princess Auto? I thought that was an American company. No.
Not
Anyways,
around me, but
I got this at a store. They had the Hot Wheels section, and it's still there. And they had a bunch of cars, and they had like, I saw this, and I was like, this is a great scale. I'm gonna hide it somewhere in the forest eventually. But I like putting it in the garage. But you are the first person, Marie Jose, who noticed that I actually have a Jeep on my track, and actually mentioned it. Probably other people noticed, but didn't really, care to mention, which is fun.
$300 would be on 4 cars. That's what I was saying. As I'm not ready to spend. No, I would never
Yeah.
spend $300 on one car. But
No.
if I want 4 cars that like would race together, then it would be $300 because they're all like, it's a bit of a stretch, but 75-ish dollars a piece. And so
Yeah.
I guess what I was saying is when I went in the shop, I was ready and willing to spend $75 on a car to add to my collection. But when I saw those, I was like, well, I need some others to race with it. So in order to make it work, I need 4 of them. And 4 at 75 is suddenly
Oh, okay. She's
$300.
asking. I'm like, what are you worried about? I'm like, oh yeah, Liam's gonna want cars, and um,
Cars are
yeah. So
$1,000. Well, of course you do.
of course, Pharrell has $1,000 car.
Of course you do.
And they're all in the trunk of his $100,000 car, right?
Ooh.
I'm gonna give you guys what I think is a well kept secret, and I want to also keep it away from the American friends because I'm selfish. There's a shop in Laval. I'm not ready to tell you the name. They have the best prices. They have the best prices. Yeah, you're gonna have to start putting money aside for the sets, guys. Sorry, it's not this ain't pennies, right? Remember? Is it gold? GPS? Yeah, it must be. Uh, oh, I was gonna say Max Trains, dude. That's my secret. Don't. Max Trains is my secret. Yeah, beat me to it. Yeah. Oh man. That's Raul. Raul's like, no, you don't keep secrets in this hobby.
That's
You
fair.
share everything, and you do. And Max Trains, they have the best prices. They have decent amount of stock, honestly, and Panther Hobbies as well in Toronto. Those guys are nice. You call them up, make an order, they'll do it. My issue with Max Trains was when I ask about stuff or ask for pre-orders, they weren't very. They're like, no, we just kind of make orders, throughout the year, and that's it. Like, well, we do we stock up on what we think, and I'm like, okay, that sucks, but that seems to be the business model for most people carrying Carrera, unless it's different in the States. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I don't even ask because the brick and mortar shop around me, they're much more. It's like a massive hobby shop, right? They do RC and trains. I also do like jewelry and sewing and
Okay.
all kinds of stuff. Great folks, but the guys in the like hobby part of it, so like RC, train, that sort of thing, they are way more into RC cars and trains. So, which is fine because they have what I need. So I can go and
Yeah.
physically go into a store and buy it. So I'm not complaining.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's there's like one or two guys that will chat with me about it. Even if they don't know it, they'll at least like they're interested and curious. But it's one of those things. All of those hobbies are extremely expensive, right, to get into, and so you can't do
But I think that's why
Raul
trains
probably
is,
does most of them, but what I'm saying is the average person can only picks one, goes down a lane and sticks with that. But yeah, it's I don't get to ask as many questions in there, but they have a selection. But like you said, I think they place about 3 or 4 orders a year because like I'll
yeah.
see fresh stock and then I won't see fresh stock for like 3 or 4 months. So I just go through and buy all of those items and then wait for the
Well,
next
that's it.
batch.
And then you're competing against the internet, right? If they got a website, then they're kind of done, right?
And they don't. I mean, they have a website, but it's not like they don't do e-com. They're just like it's like a local, very well known hobby shop. And
Okay.
so anyway, but it works because then I'm not, it helps me curb my collection, right? I only buy 2 or 3 cars at a time, and like I said, like I didn't want to buy all 4 of those ones, so I'm just not buying that this whatever.
Yeah.
But okay, so all my silicones are on. It's 9:04 here, local central. We're about an hour. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch mics
Cool.
and I'm gonna run a few laps on them, and then we'll wrap it up.
You got a camera on your track?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's what I want to see. I've been waiting.
All right.
I've been waiting to see this.
I'm gonna mute and then switch camera and
Yeah, man. I could use another coffee if my wife's watching. No, I'm gonna no. No. And now I just locked in my Scale Auto dealer too. Nice, Raul. Yeah, Billy and Amanda, they got a good shop. It's the shipping that kills me for them, just because of how far I am in being in Montreal, and they're in Canada too, right? So, and Max Trains is like a half an hour drive for me, so it's just easy to do. Okay, so I did the white one.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can.
Rad.
Well, I can hear you. Hopefully, the chat can hear you.
Can the chat hear me?
No answer means yes.
Yeah, good enough. It's probably just delayed. They probably can't even hear me.
Yeah,
They'll
no,
answer,
yeah.
and I can figure it out then. Yeah, they can hear me. Oh man, this is so rad.
Nice.
All right, so let's see. Let's do the AMG. What do you think? I got AMG, the Audi, the Huracan. Which one should I do? Tell me in the chat.
Which one was the last one you raced? Which one's more fresh in your head for performance?
The AMG. I always race the AMG.
Yeah, I'm. This is gonna be like a reaction video. I want to see your reaction to riding on silicone tires.
Yeah, I gotta. And that's so cool. I can't even like see what you guys see, but like, hi.
But I have a question for you. Did you clean your track before doing this?
I did it this morning.
There you
I
go.
made sure to. I wiped it down last night and then ran the thing over it this morning. All right, we're ready there.
I didn't clean. I gotta tune these up for our next, for Jen and I's next. Not the next one that I'll be posting, but our next actual race, our next time trial. I don't know what I call these things, guys. My videos come to my head, and half the time I change the title by the time I'm making the thumbnail. So that's what I love about this hobby. Just do what you want. Just do what you want. Keep it clean. Do what you want.
2, 1, go.
You didn't want to wait for the camera.
Oh man, it is like glue. As soon as I say that, it goes off. I can't see the chat from where I'm at, so you have to tell me. Oh man, we are gonna.
Liam wants the Hurricane, and
I brought
Jen
that one
wants the
over.
Audi.
All right, let's.
What's going on? You actually made me a coffee, babe. You're the best. Babe, you're the best. Hi, puppy. Hi, puppy. I can't touch you. I got grease on my hands.
All right, just doubled
in
the
our Mr. and Mrs. My wife's the best.
double the
I'm not gonna
speed.
let her win though.
Oh shit! I'm sorry, language.
I'm gonna pay for that later. JPS. I'm gonna pay for that later. Jenny's the best. Yep, she is. She is. Pete, I thought you had a camera on your track.
Can you not see it?
Oh, I can. No, it's fine. It's great. I thought like, I just want more. I'm never happy with what you give me, right? Oh, we can see it for sure. I thought you had another.
Oh, you know what? You can't see it, but the chat can see it.
Oh, okay. That's fine. That's
Yeah,
fine.
sorry.
Okay. No, not at all. I was just only waiting.
I'm like, no, it's there.
Week and a half for this. I can call you anytime. I'm not worried.
It is.
I always forget
Yeah.
where I am.
It's insanely. I mean, I've already broken the track record like 4 times. It's nuts.
So, Liam, I'm going to ask Liam a question. And I'll ask the chat the same question. It's fine. If any of you saw the time trials, who are you going for? Me or Jen? Be honest. Be honest. You won't hurt my feelings. Yeah, I brought her cheese and yeah, I brought. Thank you. I'm equally the best. You don't have to. Don't worry. You're always invited, Mallory. You don't have to. Thank you.
What is it? Let's crank it up. Let's crank it up.
Me? Nice, bro. Bro. Respect. Oh, did I just get oil all over myself? I'm such a dummy. Oh my god.
There's the Huracan for you.
I just. Let me do that properly, man. Respect. Without the oil all over my nice track.
Man, it is legitimately like glue. I've never been able to race them this fast.
Pete, you're too quiet. How you feeling, man?
Can you not hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I mean, it's nuts. It's crazy fast. It is insanely fast. In fact, it's so fast.
So tell
I
the
just
good people, do you
ripped a
regret-
fence off.
No, it fell? Do you regret your decision?
No,
Good.
no, kind of wish I'd made it earlier.
Good.
Man, I don't even know how this was even on.
All right, guys.
Well, we got some repair work to do today on there. But yeah, let me switch back.
Okay, this motor needs
Yeah.
little clay. Give me a momento. And so I want to hear your thoughts. How you feeling? How was it today on the track? What could you do better? What could you do worse?
That was rad. Super cool. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's nuts. Like, I'm not exaggerating when I say it's like they're sticking like glue. It is. Yeah, I've never turned up the speed that high and felt anywhere close to in control. And shaved almost a second off my. That's partially because I cranked it from like 47 to like 80 on the speed. So of course you're gonna cut some lap time, but I could never have raced at 80% before on those old tires and felt anywhere close to comfortable. You know, with a diesel out of medium. So I mean, that's pretty wild.
It's gonna be that it's a different way of feeling. How far can I push this car? And you'll see, oh, this guy's handling a lot better in the corner than I expected, or different. And it's good because it's like another level of. And I get it. I get why people are saying take out the magnets, do this, do that, whatever, to really get the enjoyment of racing. It's just you want that level of challenge, right?
Yeah,
That's
it's baby steps, right?
exactly
One thing at a time. And I think it's cool too because like I'm even thinking in my head like probably with a group of people over here. Silicone's like a dirty faster, need water cleaning stations. Yeah, I was afraid of that. I've got an extra piece of track, and I was also gonna 3D print something, maybe design something with like a sponge or like a Brillo pad that I could, spray some cleaner on. I saw Marty do something. I've seen Harry from Home Racing World build something. Um, 18
what
volts at 100%. That is fast. But yeah, so I just think it's I'm thinking in my head like even bumping up my buddies up to like 60% is going to be a game changer for them, like just in terms of like excitement and that sort of thing, but also like just the fact that they'll stick better. No Brillo pad for silicone. You'll need a sponge and water. Got it. All right. Is something like Simple Green gonna hurt it? Simple Green shouldn't hurt them, right?
Simple Green? No,
It's cleaner.
I just use a light detergent to get the grease off, and sometimes I'll just spot with a little bit of alcohol, fast on a microfiber cloth, which of course I don't have with me. And
Little dish soap. All right.
this thing
Yeah.
is beautiful. I love this thing. It bends, right? And this is my quick when I want to be lazy and
is
just
nice.
yeah, fast. You can get this off Amazon too, microfiber thingamajig, and bend it the way you want. It's everywhere. And then, but to really scrub down and get the grease off, you're gonna have to put some manpower in there a bit. But because your track is nice and accessible, you don't have spaghetti all over the place. Not that that's bad, but just like it'll be a lot
easier. I've got
no overpasses.
I got a video coming too. I've got the cleaning truck, which probably won't help out much except for dust, but still run it and I love it. I think it's awesome. But for my birthday, also I got one of those Contour Pro Contour whatever things, and I'm betting that with some alcohol and that sort of thing will help too. So, but I think
Light alcohol, eh? I don't doubt. Like I literally on the
it'll evaporate off that
exactly.
Sponge,
just fast if ever I
microfiber. Yeah, very cool. All right, well, I don't know what else you got, but I think we are about at that time. BS Slot Cards did a video, and I got the silicone rollers. They pull everything. That's amazing and cheap. Yeah.
I'm gonna show you guys something.
You and Raul, or you and Joe, Raul and Joe were talking about it last time we were on the live stream. So I went and got one, and it was incredible how quickly it became absolutely filthy.
Yeah.
So I was like, I thought I was cleaning the track, but no, I wasn't even getting close. Like it just like
drama. We're getting off too.
Black stuff. So
this was on sale, I believe, at Slot Invasion as well. It's a little came with some pads. It's a little like 3D printed.
Oh, for the slot?
Yeah. And I find that this really, like when you really got to get in there and grime it up, I saw it and yeah, it's great. And these pads are hilarious because they're also the same pads used for like gun cleaning. Which is
Yeah,
kinda
yeah.
fun.
Yeah, I was
And,
just gonna say, I bet some there's. I mean, I used to work for a retail shop that did a lot of firearms. They're out of business now, big national chain. But
yeah, that's,
yeah, I was thinking like, oh man, all that stuff would have been perfect. Buy it in bulk because I wouldn't need nearly as many as you need to clean out a firearm. And
get them for a lot cheaper too, because like
yeah, right, because they're not branded as slot car, right? Slot invasion cleaning. Yeah, it's cool. I'll have to try that too. I like the contour. The Pro Contour has like the pad will go down into the slot, so that's kind of cool.
yeah.
But I also have like I have a it's like a tip for my little. There you go.
So I want to
tip
see.
nozzle tip thing for my vacuum cleaner. That gets down in there real nice.
I've got a dust buster, but I want to get another one. Just to
and I watched. I don't remember where I saw it, but when you're using a vacuum cleaner, make sure that you choose one that has a HEPA filter, because otherwise you're just kicking that dust. Which, like, normally when you're vacuuming, it's no big deal, right? But the whole point of vacuuming is to get a lot of that dust and fine particles off the track. And if you're just sucking it up and spitting it out the back, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about that the other day, and I had mentioned another regret of how I built my track and the carpet. Right, carpet grabs dust, so I don't know if that's really contributing that much. I mean, it's not a high carpet, but I'm sure that, and that's one thing I'm neglecting, is to vacuum around this carpet area here. The inside is covered with this, already made grass.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's okay, but this still, you put your hand on it, everyone's touching it. It's normal, like you're gonna get, right? So I mean, it's a winning and losing battle all at the same time. Like it is what it is, right?
Well, I don't know about you, but I got to get rolling.
Yeah, brother, this was great.
The weekend is starting, right? But I'm glad we got to start it with you guys. We have 12 people on watching us. How about that? That's like
amazing.
Double last time.
Yeah.
So
thank you guys.
Hopefully y'all enjoyed yourselves. Thanks so much for spending some time with us on a Saturday morning. I had a blast as usual. All of our conversations are fun, Joe, but I'm glad we can do them in front of other people too.
Yeah. Great.
If anybody in the future wants to come on and join us, let us know. Send us an email. I think both of us have emails on our individual channel pages. But yeah, let us know. We'd love to have more people on. We wanted to do this one, just the two of us, to make sure that if it went absolutely terribly or we had technical difficulties again, we could just keep the wagon circled, and not expose anybody else to that. But I think it worked, and so
it did. Even with your last minute change that almost gave me a heart attack, but that's fine.
yeah, we tested it 2 nights ago, Thursday night. Using a completely different software, and then last night I got a wild hair. My butt was like, I'm gonna switch over to this software because Joe uses it and he says it's good and it's easier and all this other stuff works, and so I've redid it all last night without testing it.
I get this text and I'm like,
almost this morning, almost didn't work, but we figured it out, and it was an absolute blast. I'm so glad everybody joined us, and we don't know how often we're going to do it, but we're shooting for minimum once a month. But since this one was so much fun, just kind of like the last one, we'll probably see you guys in a couple weeks. So stay tuned, and thanks, Wild Man. Hit the thumbs up on your way out, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks so much,
guys. Thanks so much. Ciao.